2026. I'm Maria Gutierrez, and sitting next to me, Becca Latter. The objectives of today's session will be first to give you an overview of La Caixa Foundation and the Social Observatory. Second, we will describe the Social Research Call. Then we will have time for your questions and answers, and we will conclude. Please remember that you will be able to ask questions through the chat, and we will answer them at the end of the session.
So, to give you a bit of context for this call is organized by La Caixa Foundation, which is one of the largest foundations in the world. We have an annual budget of 655 million euros. And this is broken down into around 60% for social programs, just over 20% for research and fellowships, and just under 20% for culture, which includes our museums. Within the La Caixa Foundation, the Social Observatory focuses on social research. So we have three main objectives. The first is to fund social research through competitive calls and commissioning of some specific studies. We also communicate research results through many different formats to reach different kinds of audiences. And we try to foster networks between researchers and people from the social sector through our community events.
Thanks, Becca. So now we are going to move on to the social research. Okay, the Social Research Call funds projects of any discipline and any field in the social sciences and humanities. Projects last for 2 years. We fund up to 115,000 euros, and the projects need to look for to resolve challenges in the society in Spain and or Portugal. This call we started in 2019 in Spain, and since 2020, it's open together in Spain and Portugal. As you will see later on, we have a process of selection that has 2 phases, and in that process intervenes professionals of the practical world and in the academical world. For those of you who are based in Portugal, it's very important for you to know that we have a match fund agreement with the Ministry of Finance of Research in Portugal. That means that for each project that we fund in Portugal, they might find the next best one. So this is very important for you to bear in mind. So the objectives of the session, which, So the main objectives of the call is to fund projects that are excellent, that provide quantitative evidence in analysis for challenges that are relevant in Spain and Portugal, and that are innovative. So who might apply to this call? Researchers that are based in Spain and Portugal from any nationality that are working in a research center, either a private or public organization, a private or public university, or an organization, a non-profit organization, but this organization must have as a main activity research. This is very important that you check your statutes for those non-profit organizations that might be willing to apply, that in the statutes it's written that the main activity is research, that they do research, not that they maybe commission research. They must have a team of researchers within the non-profit organization. Okay, the process to apply has 2 steps. I don't understand why the slide, sorry, they have some information that is missing, which was not the case in the one that I sent, but you will receive, if you want this presentation. But well, anyway, all the information, before I continue, all the information is already available on the web. You have the rules for participation. You have also a document that is called the Assessment for Proposals, where all the details of how the selection process is done is written. You also have on the web already all the documents for applying how to write a short proposal and how to navigate in the platform. you will also have the recorded session information. So the application process, it's very important that you know that it's in two phases, short proposal and full proposal. And in the next slide, I will explain you more carefully how it works. Then the evaluation process, something that is very important that you bear in mind, is that the proposal must be totally anonymous, and that there are four phases during the process of selection. 3 of them are remote, and this is when the process is totally blinded, and the last one is an interview. But let me explain this in further detail in the next slide. So, okay, so the opening of the call is the 7th of January, 2026, and then the closure is the 22nd of January. Just after that, there will be the eligibility process, where we will see we will reject those proposals that are not eligible. So in this phase, it's very important that your proposal is blinded. So I will give you more details about that. It means that neither the evaluator nor the center must be visible in the proposal. Okay, so that will be checked very carefully in the eligibility process. Another characteristic that is important is that the individual, the researcher who applies, the project leader, must have completed the PhD 2 years before the deadline of the call, which means that you must have had your PhD before the 22nd of January 2024. Okay, so that's also very important for you to bear in mind. Okay, so once the eligibility process ends, we will move to the evaluation of the first phase. The first phase is when we evaluate the short proposals. Okay, so the short proposals are you as I said in the guidelines, you have a description of how you should write the short proposal. I insist again on the relevance of not writing your name nor the center in the short proposal. The short proposal is a selection of very good ideas that you need to develop in 3 pages. Okay? Bear in mind that every year we receive around 400 short proposals. From those, we will have the first phase of the selection that is subdivided in 2 subphases. And the idea is that we will pick up the potential best ideas that will be invited in the phase 2, which is when you will have to write the full proposal. In the short proposal, as I said, there are 2 subphases. The first one, each proposal is randomly allocated to 5 evaluators. We always guarantee that there is a balance, female and male, so at least 2 or 3 out of 5 evaluators are female. And we have in the first subphase, phase 1.1, 5 academics evaluating this short proposal. From these 400, 500 short proposals, then we will have 200 short proposals that are moved to the second subphase, which is subphase 1.2. Okay, in this subphase 1.2, we will have 5 evaluators, but this time will be experts from the practical world. It means that they will have another perspective of the proposal. In the first subphase, the academics will be focusing a lot on the potential methodology, the scientific soundness, and the feasibility in a way. And the second subphase, the 1.2, they will be looking more at the social relevance and the public engagement of the proposal. So this is because we want to have, the reason why we have a mix of evaluators, academics and practitioners, is because we want to fund projects that are academically excellent, but also they will have social impact. And we believe that the opinion of the 2 types of experts is very important. Okay, so once you have so after phase 1, we will invite 100 proposals to write a full, 100 proposals to develop their ideas into a full proposal. Okay, so if you are invited to write a full proposal, then you will receive an email. You will see the timeline afterwards, and we will also include in the web page the materials, the guidelines for the full proposal. So now that's going to be done later on, just not to confuse you. So now all the information is about writing the short proposal, and later on, for those who are invited to develop the full proposal, they will receive the information. Okay. So when you write the full proposal, if you manage to get to phase 2, the full proposal is 15 pages, roughly. You will have to develop a Gantt chart, and you will have to also develop a budget. It's very important that when you write the full proposal, you remember that still the process is blinded, which means that all the 3 documents, the full proposal, the budget, and the Gantt must be anonymous, so that the evaluators cannot identify who is behind the proposal. Okay, so and after that, when we receive the 100 full proposals, we will send them to 5 experts, academic experts. Each proposal will be sent to 5 academic experts with the same criteria of the gender balance that we were talking before with the short proposal, and then. After a couple of 3 weeks, by the way, I forgot to mention that once you are told that you will have to write a full proposal, you have roughly 5-6 weeks to develop it. Okay, so you will have enough time to write the full proposal. Okay, after the evaluation of the full proposal, that it's still a remote phase, the phase 2.1, we will invite roughly 30 proposals to go to the interviews. Okay, then the interviews is the last phase, the phase 2.2. In that phase, there are 12 panelists that participate in the evaluation, 8 academics and 4 practitioners. The interviews are done in a hybrid format, meaning that the people who are interviewed are connected remotely. The interviews last for 15 minutes each, 5 minutes speech and 10 minutes questions. And then the panel, the members of the panel will be in the same room. Okay, so. So basically, all the process, phase 1 and phase 2 up to the interviews is blinded. It's evaluated remotely, and only at the very end you will have the interview for the last 30 finalists. Another important matter when you have to develop the full proposal. This is I just explained now because sometimes it gets people get confused. As I said, you will have to develop the full proposal. You will have to write the budget. You will have to also to build the Gantt. Everything is anonymous, but you will be asked to write 2 other documents, which is the public and sector expertise document and the academic expertise. These 2 documents are not blinded. You have to describe your team and your in one page, so it has to be short, but you have to describe your team, yourself, your expertise, and also the practical expertise. But these 2 documents need to be prepared at the moment that you submit the full proposal. They are going to be saved in the platform. In phase 2.1, and the experts are not going to have access to this, but they are there ready in case that you are invited for going to the interview. Okay, so just I insist on this because people get confused about all these different documents that need to be prepared when you are invited in the full proposal. Full proposal is anonymous, the Gantt and the budget anonymous, but the 2 expertise documents are not. The only thing is that they are kept until the end, that they are not visible for the evaluators in phase 2.1, but you need to make them ready. Okay, so this is a lot of details, a lot of information, but as I said, all of this is written in the documents that are available on the web. So which are the main criteria? I think that I covered this slightly before. This is 5 main criteria that you have to bear in mind when you develop your short proposal and the full proposal. Novelty, scientific soundness, the social relevance, the public engagement, and the feasibility. As I mentioned before, we have the look of practitioners and academics. The academics will be focusing more on these 3 criteria, novelty, scientific soundness, and feasibility. and the practitioners and the other two, social relevance and public engagement, although, of course, all of them read the proposal and they have an opinion of the 5 criteria. So the selection process timeline. Okay, so October 2025, this is today, the informative session. Then very important dates are the 7th of January, when the opening of the application process, and the 22nd, the end. But bear in mind that you can already enter into the platform, that the documents, how to navigate the platform, they are already available on the web page. So I encourage you to, especially those who never applied before, to familiarize with the platform, enter, make sure that, that you know how to do it. It's very important you identify who's the organization manager of your organization, because as I will insist later on, the organization manager has a very important role in your submission. Your proposal must be endorsed by the organization manager before you can submit. Okay, so all these little aspects you can have a go, and also even you can start preparing your short proposal, because the template is available on the web page. Okay, so January is a very important month, but please start before that. And the 22nd of January at 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock in Portugal. This is also very important. Don't get distracted with the time, because the deadline is 22nd of January, 2 o'clock. Okay, 1 o'clock in Portugal. So after that, once you have submitted your proposal, we have 1 week for the eligibility process, and after the eligibility process, we start the evaluation, the first phase evaluation, which is phase 1.1 and 1.2, that takes place around February. Okay, so February, first half of March. By mid-March, you will be notified if you have managed to go to phase 2. Okay, so then you will have 6 weeks to prepare your full proposal, and then by the end of April, you will have to submit your full proposal. Okay, again, there will be a 1 week for the eligibility, to guarantee that all our proposals are blinded, and so on. And then we will send them to phase 2.1, which will be at the beginning of May. And then by mid-May, you will know if you are invited for the interview. Okay, so this is January to June. It's a long process, but because it's separated in 2 sub-phases, then I think that it's quite straightforward. The interviews, the dates are already available, the 17th and 18th of June. So yeah, once you are notified, make sure that you are available both days, because we don't make exceptions. You are allocated a date for the interview, and then you have to make sure that you have that day is possible for you. Okay, and the resolution will be announced by the end of July. Before I proceed, I would like to make and also give you another piece of information regarding the feedback that you receive. As you know, these are two differentiated processes, short proposal and full proposal. For the short proposal, you won't get any feedback. There is a smaller effort than the full proposal to prepare it, and it's like a quick process of selection, and we decided that we don't give feedback. So that's very important for you to know. The evaluators don't write any comments, and they do this pickup of ideas and in a fast way, and you will just know if you passed or not to the following phase. Okay. Then for the full proposal, yes, you will receive a report when you have finalized if you're selected for the interview or not. A few weeks after, you will receive a report that summarizes your strengths and the weaknesses of your proposal, with the aim that you will be able to improve and to learn. Okay, so crucial steps to submit a proposal. Here I would like to insist as well on things that people tend to have, to ask questions and make mistakes for the eligibility process. The proposal must be in English. This is because we use evaluators from all over the world, and also because it's a call that it's open together in Spain and Portugal, so English is the common language that we use for the call. So please, all the documents that you submit must be in English, and bear in mind as well that when you go for the interview will be conducted in English. Okay? I insist again, but believe it or not, every year we have proposals that are not anonymous, and they write the name of the project leader. So please take this very seriously when you write. There are examples in the guidelines. You have also a table where it gives you some ticks that that can help you in making sure that you are writing the proposal as it's required. So I encourage you to read that carefully. So the organization manager, very, very important. Just now, if you are interested in apply, start knowing who is the organization manager of your organization, because this person will have to endorse your proposal, and few days before the application deadline. So yeah, very, very important. And the other characteristic that also you must be aware, especially for centers that are so universities, obviously they are research centers, but non-profit entities that they are interested in applying, they must be sure that they are an actual research center. Our legal department checks this very carefully. So in the statutes of your organization must be written very clear that your organization directly undertakes research. And if not, then your proposal will be rejected. Okay. So, and if you have questions, you can already start sending an email and preparing for this, and perhaps yes, doing all the legal requirements that you might need. Okay. So, to finalize, before we start with the questions and answers, this is the execution of timeline for a granted proposal. So you will receive the notification by the end of July. Then it takes a few weeks before all the legal aspects are clarified and we sign the agreement. So by the end of 2026, you should be starting your project. The project lasts 2 years, but something I want to emphasize here is that the social research grant allocates 115,000 euros to the center, but besides that, it gives other, I think we believe, quite a nice characteristics, that it's, we provide some training, some networking activities, we help you develop our organization management plan, we are very, very interested that your project gets into the, into the public and the policymakers, so we also can help you with that to disseminate your project. So we think that besides the grant itself, the money, you receive all this package that is very interesting, so I just wanted to emphasize that as well. So okay, so now will be time for questions and answers, and yeah, thanks a lot for your attention.
Thank you, Maria. So we have quite a lot of questions. I'm going to start with the easier ones. So will the recording of this session be available?
Yes, in a few days you will be able to watch the session in our webpage. Yes.
Okay. Is the funding allocated to the project leader, or is it paid to the university?
So the funds go to the university or the research center. So this is like different from a scholarship, no? That is, it goes to the project and the center where the project belongs to.
Okay. Somebody says, I would like to know if only qualitative studies are welcome, or can only quantitative studies are welcome, or can I present a qualitative project?
Okay, so as it says in the rules, we want to fund projects that give us quantitative evidence, because it's also much easier afterwards to explain the results, to disseminate, to have impact. But we strongly believe that qualitative analysis is very relevant. So when you develop your project, you can have a part that is quantitative, but can be supported by a qualitative analysis. So that will be perfectly possible.
Okay, thank you. So does this grant require exclusivity? If I have another grant from another organization for a different project, is it possible to apply?
Yes, it's totally possible to apply. So if you have another grant, you can submit a proposal and be granted this grant as well.
Okay, thank you. Is it possible for a researcher to submit 2 different proposals with different topics for this call?
No. So a project leader can only submit one proposal. What is possible is that one organization, because this is something that usually we receive questions about this, an organization can submit various proposals, but through different project leaders.
Yeah, so we have a related question. So within my research group, can we present more than one project? So the answer is yes, as long as they have different project leaders assigned to each project. Okay. How can I find out if my foundation can apply for this call?
So if you are a university, either public or private university, you can definitely apply because. But if you are a non-profit organization and you are not sure if you can actually apply, I would recommend you to write us an email, and we will check with the legal department, okay? Because it's very important that in the statutes, as I said in the presentation, the statutes of your organization, is written that one of the aims of the organization is to undertake research directly. Okay, so yes, please send us an email, and well on time, because otherwise, if you leave it in January, it will be too late.
Yeah, you can do it now, so it's better to get these things done earlier. Okay, so we have another couple of questions which are kind of related. So can I do a project jointly between more than one university, or does it have to just be one research center?
Okay, so the grant goes to one research center. So a project leader applies for the project, and the grant goes to the organization where the project leader is working. Having said that, you can the project leader, of course, already can collaborate with other organizations and other researchers in other universities when develops and explains in the expertise document and in the public and sector expertise document, it can explain that because it obviously gives value to the project. And when the money, so when he or she develops the budget, he can bear in mind that part of the budget can go to these other centers. So you can subcontract services from another university from all over the world. But the money we just pay to the center where you belong to, and after that you will have to subcontract these services. That's the way it works.
Okay, so related to that, people are asking, does the project need to cover both Spain and Portugal, and does it have to have partners from both countries?
No, it's not necessary. If you already have partners you are working together with Portugal, and you think that you are in Spain and Portugal, and you think that the project can have extra value if you combine the 2 countries, it's fine, but it's not compulsory. You can work only for a project in Spain, and even other countries that are not in Portugal. The most relevant thing is that you have either Spain or Portugal in the project, and then after that, you can do research also that takes place in other countries.
Somebody's asking where they can see the document, so maybe you can just go back to the slide that has our website on it. This one?
Yes.
Okay, so you have the information there, you can go to the website.
Yeah, especially the second email is the one that goes directly to requests that are related to the social research call. So I will encourage you especially if you want to check this thing of the center, it's a good, you can write to that email.
And somebody is asking, what kind of experts participate in phase 1.2?
Okay, so experts that participate in phase 1.2, these are individuals that somehow they understand research, so that they have been maybe in the past even connected to the research field, but they work now in ONGs, in the public administration, in other foundations perhaps, so that they are experts that know more what happens in the field, and they have another view of the needs, so it really helps to pick up those projects that in phase 1.1 were already been selected that that qualitatively in terms of the methodology were potentially good. And then in phase 1.2, these experts will make sure that these projects make sense and that they are relevant for the society. And that's why we like to have people that are more related to the field. And in academics, they are usually experts that are based outside Spain and outside Portugal to guarantee that there is not conflict of interest. But for the experts that are participating in phase 1.2 that are related to the practical world, we take experts that are in Spain and Portugal because they are closer to the needs. They know better the needs of the society in Spain and Portugal.
Okay, so we have also quite a lot of questions about the requirements for the project leader. So do I have to have a PhD? If so, what's the date that the PhD has to have? And is it possible to have more than one project leader for the same project?
Okay, so in terms of the PhD, you must have completed your PhD before the 22nd of January 2024. It means that we need that at least you have a PhD for 2 years. That's why when the deadline for the call is 22nd January 2026, so you must hold a PhD before 22nd January 2024. Okay, so that's the eligibility condition for the project leader. Then there is only one project leader who applies, so all the responsibility and the paperwork and so on, it's one project leader. Obviously, you can then work with many other experts and in your team. And finally, very, very often, we have articles that we disseminate later on and publications that they have several authors. So that's perfectly possible. You will work with other people, but we only have one person that will submit, and also the project leader, one person that will be present in the interviews. So this is something that also we receive questions about this, if other people, members of the team, can participate in the interviews, and the answer is no. Only the project leader will be present in the interview. Okay.
Yeah, so that's another question we had. Can more than one person participate in the interview? Is the interview online or in person, and in what language?
Okay, so the interview is online, so it's a hybrid format. So for the applicant, is online. So you will receive a link, exact time of the day where you have to enter into the Zoom meeting. But the panelists will be based in Barcelona. So the panelists are together. So you will see the 12 people on the screen, but you will not have to be in person in Barcelona, but only the panelists. Okay, so that gives you a bit more flexibility, and also the interview lasts for 15 minutes. It's 5 minutes pitch and 10 minutes questions. The interviews are conducted in English because the panelists are experts that are based outside Spain and Portugal. So this is the common language is the English. And so just to also explain a bit more about the panel, it's 8 academics from different disciplines in social sciences, a combination of disciplines to cover all the fields possible. And then for experts, two experts from the practical world, 2 that are based in Spain, and 2 in Portugal. So 12 people in total.
Okay, thank you. So I have another question about the organization manager. Is this normally a person from the vice rectorate or somebody? Can you explain who this is within the university?
To be honest, each center is a bit different, so I think that you should ask to the university, and they will let you know. I mean, big universities, they have one person, or even that is already in the system, even in our system, because those organizations.
Yeah. Sorry, that's an important thing. So this person has to be accredited on our system. So if you ask within the university, normally it's somebody within the research office, and they normally have one profile, and they need to be accredited, so they have permission on the platform to accept your project. So it's important to find this out a bit before.
Yeah, thanks, Becca.
Can you tell me how many projects were funded last year?
Okay, we usually fund around 15 projects, but it depends. So last year it was 19. As I said, not all funded by us because we have this much fund with Portugal. This is very interesting for researchers that are based in Portugal because that we have this much fund with the Ministry of Science in Portugal because they trust our select. We are actually very proud of this. They trusted our selection process, the transparency, the quality of the processes, and they signed an agreement with the La Caixa Foundation a few years back where they said that for each project that we found in Portugal, they will fund the next best one. So this means that we tend to fund some more projects than 15. But I would say that around 15 is the number that.
Okay, so we have quite a lot of questions about the budget. So some people are asking, do I have to have additional funding, or if I apply for, will I be given 100% of the budget I apply for? And what kind of expenses can I include? Is it possible to pay salaries, like some personnel expenses within the budget? And can you confirm the maximum total budget?
Okay, so the maximum total budget is 115,000 euro. And you will be allocated everything that you explain and you develop in your project. So in your budget, if you ask for 115,000, you will get this. If you ask 110,000, you will get what. But the budget is something that the evaluators in phase 2.1 and phase 2.2 will be looking. So it needs to make sense. Okay, so you don't need to ask more if you think that with less you can do it anyway. So I think that, but you will be granted what you ask for. Okay. Then, in terms of if you can subcontract for no.
Yeah, if you can pay like HR costs, so
yes,
salaries of researchers.
Within the budget, it depends. For example, some projects they need to hire a postdoc, or then they use the budget to pay for human resources. Others, maybe they are covered with that because they do it more themselves and they are already paid by the university, but they have to conduct a survey, and so. It's very flexible. You have to. There are only a couple of rules that the indirect costs cannot be more than 10% of the direct cost. So that's one condition. And the other one is that as a project leader, you can pay you like a slightly bonus if you for your research, for your work, let's say. And this also has a limit. I think it's 10% of the direct cost, but it's written in the rules for participation. And there was something else. Now I forgot.
Personnel cost. Oh, I'll come back in a minute.
Well, it's quite flexible.
Oh, and the maximum total budget.
The maximum is 115,000. Yes. Okay.
Okay, so somebody's asking, can I present a project that's a health-related topic if I look at it from the social sciences?
Yes, if it's from the social science perspective, you can. I mean, well-being, health. Actually, this is topics that lately we have received a lot. But it's very important that this project is not a clinical trial, for example. So I think this is written also in the rules for participation. The look of the health issue needs to be from the social perspective. Okay, so that's very important.
Okay, so we have another question. Is a public university automatically considered eligible? So the answer is yes, but it has to be accredited on the system. So again, you have to speak to the university. Most of them already have a user on our system, so you're automatically eligible, but there's still some paperwork to do. Okay, so what type of expenses? We already answered that. With respect to anonymization, is mentioning the name of my university considered not anonymous for the short proposal?
You cannot name your university, you cannot name yourself. So both criteria are very important for meeting the criteria for the anonymity. Okay, so.
Okay, does a proposal that includes research conducted in both Spain and Portugal have a higher chance of success?
No, I don't think so. I think that if you don't have to force yourself to try to find a colleague in Portugal or otherwise to do a project for work countries, because if you think that it's possible and it gives extra value for you, just do it. But this is not a criteria to get more points to be selected if you have research that takes place in both countries.
Okay, so. In writing the proposal, can I cite and acknowledge previous work of my team, or is that also considered not anonymous?
So if your team is in the same center of that you are working, it can be a bit risky. So I think that for the short, in the guidelines, there are some examples of how to go around this. Like obviously, I understand that for you it's important to give value to your team and so on, but only the academic expertise and the practical and social sector expertise will be taken into consideration in the very last phase in the interview, because this call focused completely on the quality of the proposal, not on the expertise, on the CV of the project leader and the team and so on. So I understand that it's quite different from other grants where the CV it's really very, very important from the beginning. No, here the look is at the quality of the proposal and what you explain in the proposal, and only when you get to the interview we will have the final check during the questions and answers of the interview and so on, and the documents that you provide to assess the CV in a way, okay, of the project leader.
Okay, great. Is there a specific number of members for the research team, or a kind of composition of the research team that's ideal for this kind of project?
I think it's totally up to you. Multidisciplinary research, we all believe now that it gives more value. So I think that if you have a variety of experts, as you probably already know, it's a good thing. But there is no rules for the size of the team or whatsoever. It is totally up to the project leader.
Okay, so there are also some questions about the project leader, about their contract. So are there any restrictions on the kind of contract they have to have with the university? Can they have a part-time contract? And somebody else is asking if they have to change universities maybe before the project starts or just after it's granted. Is that possible?
Okay, so there is not, I mean, if you have to have some affiliation with the university, and the university must want to endorse your proposal. So if that's possible, for us, it doesn't really matter if you're part-time, full-time. Okay, and for the second question about if you can change organization, yes, it's possible. We understand that the researchers can have developed their career and they can change from institution. So if this is happening, there is a formality that it will have to be done, which means that the organization that you depart and the organization where you are going to, they have to jointly sign a form of an acceptance. And our experience up till now is that every year we have situations like this, and we always manage that they agreed and there was a change in the organization. So I wouldn't worry about this. It can be done.
Perfect. Okay, we have quite a lot of questions, but some of them are very specific. So I think maybe it's better if you send an email and we can address each question individually. Just a couple of final questions. So how do you choose the reviewers? Sometimes they have a conflict of interest, and how do you manage this within the call?
Okay, so that's a very good question. So the reviewers. Remember that this call is remote, evaluated until the very last phase, the last 30 proposals that they go to the interview. So during the remote phase, we have the first phase, 5 academics for phase 1.1, 5 practitioners for 1.2. The academics, they are based in any center outside Spain and Portugal, precisely to avoid conflict of interest, even if the proposal is anonymous, which means that theoretically they couldn't see who is behind the proposal, so the conflict of interest is not there. But to go even further on this matter, we have evaluators that are based outside, okay, for academics. And the same happens in phase 2.1, which is also evaluated remotely. We have experts from all over the world. These experts, the academic experts, they are from all fields in social sciences. So we have a huge pool of evaluators that we have been using in the last few years. We have, we also do via, we increase our pool of evaluators, and it's important that you know that a proposal that has been granted has gone through 27 experts, because you have 5 in the first phase 1.1, 5 1.2, 5 in 2.1, and then 12 in the phase 2.2. So from all the disciplines. So another thing that I didn't go into this in the presentation is that each proposal is allocated to 5 experts, and these experts are randomly allocated, but we try to guarantee that at least 1 or 2 out of the 5 are from a similar field of research that you. So to keep the fairness of the distribution, the same criteria as with the gender. So this is very detailed, and there is a document in the assessment of proposal that where all this is explained. So if you are interested, I encourage you to read it. And how do we choose them? They are experts, people that have published, that recognize in the fields, that we rely on. So.
Okay, so I think we've nearly run out of time, so maybe we can just go back over the final deadline.
Yes.
And show you the email address.
Yes, just final remarks to end the session. A reminding of the dates, 7th January, 22nd of January, the deadline, 2026. But I insist, please go already in the platform and start preparing all the materials. So I think that's very important to identify your organization manager. And I think that if you have any more questions, you can always write us an email. We will be happy to help you. And we will like to finalize this session wishing you the best, and to thank you again for your interest. And goodbye. Thank you.
you.